NEC Article 404.14 addresses the location of disconnecting means. It's crucial to understand the requirements for disconnect placement to ensure safety and compliance. Several resources provide insights into this topic. One resource discusses NEC Article 404.14 and non-standard electrical equipment locations. Another resource explains NEC Section 404.14, specifically focusing on the location of disconnecting means. Additionally, a resource details the NEC requirements for mounting disconnects. However, it's equally important to be aware of the potential problems associated with improper disconnect mounting. Mounting large disconnects in the field can become a bad habit, leading to safety hazards. A resource highlights the dangers of improperly mounted disconnects. For comprehensive information, consult NEC Article 404, which covers disconnecting means. The National Electrical Code itself is the definitive source for all electrical installation standards. When considering the placement of disconnects, several factors come into play. Firstly, the NEC mandates that disconnects must be readily accessible. This means they should be located so they can be easily reached without obstacles or the need to climb over or move objects. Secondly, disconnects must be suitable for the environment in which they are installed. If the location is wet or corrosive, a disconnect rated for such conditions is essential. Thirdly, the height of the disconnect is also regulated. The NEC specifies maximum and minimum mounting heights to ensure accessibility for personnel. Fourthly, disconnects should be placed in a location that minimizes the risk of physical damage. Avoid areas where they could be struck by moving equipment or other hazards. Fifthly, proper labeling is crucial. The disconnect must be clearly labeled to indicate what equipment it controls. Sixthly, consider the available working space around the disconnect. Adequate clearance is necessary for safe operation and maintenance. Seventhly, follow the manufacturer's instructions for mounting the disconnect. The manufacturer may have specific requirements or recommendations. Eighthly, local amendments to the NEC may exist. Always check with the local authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Ninthly, ensure that the disconnect is securely mounted. Use appropriate hardware and mounting techniques to prevent it from becoming loose or unstable. Tenthly, regularly inspect disconnects for any signs of damage or deterioration. Address any issues promptly to maintain safety and reliability. The NEC doesn't explicitly prohibit mounting disconnects on equipment, but it does emphasize accessibility and safety. Mounting a disconnect on equipment can be acceptable if it meets all other code requirements. For example, if the equipment is large and the disconnect is readily accessible from the operating floor, it may be permissible. However, if the equipment is located in a difficult-to-reach area, mounting the disconnect on the equipment may not be compliant. In situations where mounting on the equipment is not feasible or compliant, consider alternative locations such as a nearby wall or structure. Ensure that the alternative location meets all NEC requirements for accessibility, environment, and working space. When selecting a disconnect, consider its interrupting rating. The interrupting rating must be sufficient to handle the available fault current at the installation location. Using a disconnect with an inadequate interrupting rating can be extremely dangerous. Proper grounding and bonding are also essential for safe disconnect operation. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and energizing the circuit. Bonding ensures that all metallic parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, reducing the risk of electric shock. Before working on any electrical equipment, always verify that the disconnect is in the OFF position and that the circuit is de-energized. Use a voltage tester to confirm that no voltage is present before touching any wires or components. Lockout/tagout procedures should be followed to prevent accidental re-energization of the circuit while work is in progress. These procedures involve placing a lock and tag on the disconnect to indicate that it is not to be turned on. Training is crucial for anyone working with electrical equipment. Ensure that all personnel are properly trained in electrical safety procedures, including the proper use of disconnects and other safety devices. Regular refresher training is recommended to keep skills and knowledge up to date. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it's important to stay current with the latest requirements. Changes to the code can affect the installation and maintenance of disconnects and other electrical equipment. Subscribing to industry publications and attending training seminars are good ways to stay informed. When in doubt, consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer. They can provide guidance on code compliance and best practices for disconnect installation. Their expertise can help ensure a safe and reliable electrical system.